now. Odd parents, fairly odd parents. Floaty, crowdy things. It's odd parents, fairly odd parents. If you were a kid with very odd parents. Hello, hello. It's odd. It's odd parents, fairly odd parents. That song's been in my head for like 3 hours. Damn, immediately. We're here with the men with the skinny calves, period. Period. Okay. We're back again with the men with the skinny calves. Back again with the men with skinny calves. Back again with the men with skinny calves. Disproportionate head and skinny calves. Oh. A disproportionate head and skinny calves. Disproportionate head and skinny calves. Disproportionate. Anyway. Hi everyone! Hi! Hi! Also, I was gonna get boba. And today's the outfit. Oh, there's freaking stuff. I spilled things. Anyway, I was gonna get boba. This is the outfit. And I was going, and after this live, I'm gonna go and do that. And also, I have to do my niece's makeup for her prom today. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Anyway, hello. Today we are back talking about, wait, you can't even see it. There we go. Today, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Today we're back. We're talking about body count today. You guys already know what to do. Like the live, share the live. 100 men versus leg day. Oh God, 100 men versus self-love. 100 men versus being a slave to societal standards. I love this lip gloss. You don't understand. Okay. Anyway, no makeup, no get ready with me, no anything. I literally just got up, put on some clothes, made a video, posted a video. The lip gloss I have here is the Laneige chocolate frosting. It's genuinely like, it's almost done, right? This is air. Okay. This thing right here is to die for. I'm literally about to go to Sephora and get more. Matter of fact, let me log into Sephora. Anyway, guys, join the guest request if you think that high body count should matter for women, but not for men. Remember, guys, we are just looking for people who believe that it should matter for women, but not for men, or matter more for women. Let's see here. Who we got here? Oh, no one's in the guest request yet. In the meantime, guys, while we wait, remember to double tap the screen. I'm not gonna lie, I'm giving low-key office siren. Is that what it's called? Is that what that's called? Office siren? I forgot to spell things. Also, if you haven't already, go check out my recent video, because, you know, the conversations that have been going on lately have been insanity. Good afternoon, baby. Good afternoon. Oops. Oh, that person's not here. Don't be afraid now. No, I don't have that on. Anyway. Y'all, thank you all so much for the shares. Guys, don't forget to share the live. Copy that link and tell people that I am live. And tell people that Tashika here is live. Today we're going to be doing some debates. Remember when Shapiro hit on me? Hit on me? Ben Shapiro hit on me? Ben Shapiro never hit on me. I called him ugly to his face and people got mad at me. I said he looked better in person. and no one realized that I called that man ugly right to his face. And it because in person, Ben Shapiro is very small. Like he's very, very tiny. Like not like tiny as in height. He is short, but not like tiny as in height, but in like stature, just skinny. And then and even his head. Like, usually you'll see like skinny men and they'll have like a huge head. No, even his head was small. And I'm like, damn. Proportionate. I'm not like he's a very proportionate man. So, he's a very proportionately small man. And for that, dubs, I guess. Period. Yes, queen. Yeah, was he handsome? No. But he does look better in person. He does look better in person. Anyway, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and follow me, turn on that bell. Remember, we are just looking for debate. That's literally him, Jazzy. We are just looking for debates, you guys. Also, if you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men, join the guest request. This is an old topic I used to do back in the day. Oh my goodness, it was. Remember back in the day? Remember back in the day, chat? The good old days. When I used to do this topic like every day because it's like the funniest one. It's the funniest one. So I'm gonna bring it back because honestly, the political stuff is dead. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Left-wing online political talk in terms of debates is dead. Let it go. Hi, how old are you?
34.
Cool. So why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
I think that we as a society are already going downhill with some of our moral aptitudes. And it's not that it should matter more for women than men. I think we should focus more on the nuclear family and not this everything is moral, everything is body positive. And also,
none of the things that you said had anything to do with each other, by the way.
Okay, I just wondering, are you grifting to man-hating now that you took the L in the Biden political sphere?
Grifting to man-hating? I don't hate men.
That's what it seems like.
No, I don't hate men.
So
I think advocacy for social issues that pertain to women doesn't mean that I hate men. If anything, I believe that society won't change until we start loving men more, but also still holding them accountable for being bad people on average.
And women for being bad people as well.
No, it's a society. It isn't. Well, who set that system up?
What do you mean, who set that system up? What system are you referring to?
Right, the system of misogyny, hatred, the way that we treat men and the way that women treat men is also rooted in the same misogyny and sexism. These are systems that are set up by men. But you just came up here to complain to a woman. It doesn't even sound like you disagree with the actual prompt. So I am going to move on, okay?
Okay, right. Sounds good.
Let's go on to the next person, guys. Hi, old you?
30.
Okay, so could you not chew on the phone, please? Like an adult? Okay, bye! Bye! Let's go on to the next person, you guys. Remember, we are just looking for people who think that high body count should matter for women, but not for men. 35 years old. Greek, are you there?
You are so fat.
Definitely not. Let's go on to the next person, guys. I may be fat, but I am very sexy. And that will always be a fact. Hi, how old are you?
Hey, what's going on? 22.
Okay, so why do you believe that high body count should matter for women, but not for men?
Because in the relationship, the woman is the prize. So, and it's not the man, obviously. Do you agree with that?
No, I do not.
You don't agree that in a relationship, the woman is the prize?
I believe that a woman is a woman and not an object that is to be won.
But in the relationship, would you say who's more valuable, the man or the woman?
They are both equally valuable.
But who would you say is the prize then?
I don't believe either of them are the prize.
Oh.
I believe
but society says different, right?
Well, society is wrong. Society also believes in fairy tales, and I still believe that they're wrong as well, right? Prizes are things to be won and given to other people. That inherently dehumanizes women. I don't know why you're using that rhetoric here.
So we should hold men and women to the same set of standards, correct?
Yes, I believe that we should hold men and women to the same societal standards. There is no relevant distinction between men and women that says that we cannot.
And what's your opinion on people that think women with high body counts are the H word?
I think those people have a low emotional intelligence score, and I believe that they believe in things for no reason. They would never be able to defend that worldview, and I just openly think that they're foolish. A lot of these things are based in pride, because these people have nothing else to live on. But having such an opinion on another person and their life decision that doesn't affect anyone, is an odd thing to do. I think we shouldn't normalize that type of behavior in our society.
Would you be offended if someone married someone with a lower body count than you?
Why would I be offended by that?
I'm just saying, if you got picked, if
Picked?
I was trying to go after you and someone else, but I picked a person with a lower body count, would you be mad? Or
Why would I be mad?
because it seems like you don't think body count matters.
I don't think body count matters, but why would the person?
Why not?
But why would I be offended? Like, what context would I be offended by a person dating a person with a lower body count than I?
That some people might say you have no self-respect.
Well, then that would just be a lie, and I would actually warn the person that they are going to date.
But it's just their opinion.
Well, opinions can be wrong, and opinions can be harmful.
Opinions cannot be wrong. First off,
Opinions can 100% be wrong.
We were all taught that in like third grade.
Opinions can 100. Right, you were taught in third grade that opinions can be wrong. You're taught opinions your entire life, and you disprove them all the time. Like, you can just. So you're telling me that, like, a valid opinion is that the sky is, like, in the daytime, that the sky is orange.
That's just my opinion.
Okay, so
It'd be orange.
This like illusionary truth.
You ever see the sunset?
I say when in the day.
Sure, yeah, that's daytime. The sun's still up, right?
No.
Oh. You've never seen the sunset?
No, that's afternoon. That's not the day.
Oh.
So this like illusionary truth, like an anti-intellectual standpoint, doesn't really benefit anyone in society. I just think you're just inherently being like bad faith and disingenuous.
So what about a straight?
This is not an interview.
This is a conversation, right?
Right. It's not. It's not a conversation. You're just asking me questions. You're not actually engaging with these things.
Of course I am. I mean, we just debated on if the sky's orange or not.
No, baby. So no, this was not a debate.
And you think opinions could be wrong?
Opinions can 100% be wrong.
No, they can't. They just can't.
Yes, they can. Opinions still require substantiation.
Sure, but they can't be wrong. But
yes,
anyways,
if an opinion cannot be substantiated, and if anything, if other evidence, go ahead and disprove it. Yes, an opinion can 100% be wrong.
What about a man that's straight and likes women, but claims they're a woman?
If a man claims that they're a woman, then they're a woman, and they were never a man.
What if they claim to be a woman, but they still have sexual relationships with a biological female?
Then they would be a lesbian. And it's not a claim. If they're a woman, then they're a woman. If they're attracted to women, then they're a lesbian.
No, a straight man claiming to be a woman, and like
a straight man does not claim to be a woman. If a straight man claims to be a woman, they would still be a man.
My pronouns are she, her, and I identify as a woman. I still have sexual relationships with a woman.
Okay, then if you identify as a woman and you want to, like, if you're attracted to women, you'd be a lesbian.
No, I'm straight.
Oh, then that wouldn't make any sense because you'd be a woman.
Oh, got it. Doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah. That flew over your head.
What flew over my head?
That just magically changing your gender can't happen.
No one magically changes their gender.
Of course, I could do it right now.
I wouldn't believe you. I would respect whatever pronouns you want to go by, but I wouldn't believe you.
Why not?
Because you're clearly being disingenuous.
No, I'm not.
If you're not, then I don't see why you're engaging in the conversation this way.
Because I want to become a woman. What's wrong with that?
No one becomes a woman, right? Like, if you identify as a woman, then you would have always been a woman.
No.
Yes, that's how being trans works.
For the first 21 years of my life, I was a man. Now I want to become a woman.
But the way being transgender, the way being transgender works is that a person.
But I'm not transgender. I just identify as a woman.
That's not.
But I still like that.
You can't do that.
But I like to have sexual relations with
if you're not if you're a male and you simply identify as a woman but you're not trans, that doesn't make any sense.
Why not?
Because that's not what trans means, baby.
Oh, now it doesn't make sense.
Right, because what you just said doesn't make sense.
Why not?
Because
Who
you can't be
says?
trans male and identify as a woman and then also say that you're not trans.
Who says that?
Because contradictions cannot exist, baby.
So you can't just magically turn into a woman?
Yeah, no one magically turns into a woman, baby.
People do it all the time.
No one has ever done that, baby.
Bruce Jenner did.
Bruce Jenner was always a woman.
He was a man who won the triathlon gold medal. Yeah.
No. So she represented her. All right, let's calm down and act like adults, please.
Do you not remember watching Keeping Up with the
Kardashians? I know who Caitlyn Jenner is.
And right? He was a man, right?
No, she was always a woman.
Jeez. How old are you?
I'm 23.
Oh, okay. And where'd you learn Caitlyn Jenner was always a woman?
Right. So the way that being transgender works is that these particular life experiences and self-perception has always existed. Just because a person does not.
Who's telling you this?
I don't know why you're talking over me.
Where do you learn this?
I don't know why you're talking over me.
That's how conversations work.
I don't know why you're talking over me.
No one's talking over you.
All right, Mods, mute the dog, please. Anyway, so when a person is transgender, they don't just become transgender. They have always been transgender. Whether or not they actually transition or not doesn't change whether or not she was always a girl and always a woman, right? Whether or not she went by whatever pronouns, the reality is that she was indeed always a woman, if she is indeed a woman.
No, Bruce Jenner was a man who won an Olympic gold medal.
Caitlyn Jenner is a woman.
But Bruce Jenner's a man who won.
Caitlyn Jenner was always Caitlyn Jenner. Where's
Bruce Jenner? Did he disappear?
Bruce Jenner was an identity that she felt like she had to keep up.
God, you people. No wonder you guys lost the election.
That's how being trans works.
No wonder Trump won my vote and won our vote.
Wait a minute.
Won our vote basically.
Trump won your vote because
our vote,
what?
Me and you.
What are you talking about? I didn't vote for Trump.
Our generation's vote. That's why he won it, because of you right there.
You voted for Trump because of trans people?
I voted for Trump by the way you just come up with stories in your head and think Bruce Jenner never existed. And you think
I never said that Bruce Jenner never existed. Bruce Jenner 100% existed, but Bruce Jenner was always Caitlyn Jenner.
Where did he go, though? Did he disappear?
Bruce Jenner was always Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh.
Names? Well, she just simply doesn't go by that name anymore. Where did you come up with this idea? Wait, do you think she became a different person? No, they're still the same person.
So where is he? If he's gone, if he never...
Bruce Jenner is Caitlyn Jenner, and Caitlyn Jenner was always Bruce Jenner.
I know, but you keep saying you can't magically turn into a woman.
Right.
Why not?
Because that's not how being trans works. It's something that you develop when you're a child. You mean like science, people who study brains, biology, and trans people specifically?
A scientist told you that you can't magically turn into a woman.
A scientist needs to tell me, or do I read studies?
A scientist who do studies, right?
Right. There are several studies about the differences between the transgender brain. These are things that are developed way before a person is even born. So.
Oh, so you already know you're going to be trans in the womb?
No, a person does not consciously know if they're going to be trans.
Well, you just said before they're even born.
You did not consciously know that you were going to have a penis.
You're correct.
Right. So that's not how the brain works, baby.
Who told you this?
That's not how brains work.
I know, but where'd you get that information?
Literally any biologist. You don't consciously know whether or not you're going to be tall, right? You don't consciously know whether or not you're going to be born with a vagina. Unless you remember being in the womb and building your brain. Yeah, no.
So what's stopping me from going into the women's restroom at Target today?
Nothing.
Oh, so I could become a woman.
No, that wouldn't make you a woman. That would just make you a man in the woman's restroom using the bathroom.
How long does it take to become a woman?
When you are a woman, you are a woman.
So
you are a girl when you were born, and you are a woman when you were adult. Usually, it takes to become a woman within our
females.
Women are not only female.
You just said that.
No, I said that when you're born, you're a girl, regardless of your sex.
And then you become a woman, right?
Right. When you're no, not with a vagina. Not all women have vaginas.
Of course they do. All women are born with vaginas, right?
All women are not born with vaginas.
Of course they are. What are they
No,
born with?
that's not true. Some women are born with penises. Some women are born with both vaginas and penises. Some women are born with vaginal tissue and penile tissue. Yeah, well, some women are born without genitals at all.
So how long would it take to become a woman, though?
It would take as long as it takes for a person to be an adult.
So 18 years?
Yeah, that's when typically when girls become women.
Okay, so I have to wait another 18 years to become a woman.
Are you? No. If you are indeed a woman, you're already an adult.
So since I'm 22, I could become a woman like right now.
If you indeed perceive yourself as a woman and you want to be treated as such, you would be a woman.
But I want to become a woman, but it seems like you won't let me.
It's not about whether or not I let you. I just know you're being disingenuous.
I'm not.
Then go follow your dreams, baby girl.
So I could become a woman?
Of course you can. I don't like it's not about becoming a woman.
Of course it is.
Not at all. You can begin to present yourself as a woman and identify yourself as a woman. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. I don't know why you're asking me. I don't make the rules.
Well, you're a woman, right?
I am a woman.
Okay, so I just want to get some education off a woman before I become one.
You don't need to get education from a woman to become a woman. If you're a woman, you've always been one.
No, I was a man.
I didn't need to get education. I didn't need no.
Yes.
If you are
was a man before he decided.
Bruce Jenner was not a man.
Of course,
Bruce Jenner was always a woman.
Jeez, do you do this like all day?
I do actually.
That's insane. So where's Bruce Jenner then?
Caitlyn Jenner is Bruce Jenner. They're the same person.
With a penis, right?
Women can have penises.
I don't know about that one.
So intersex women are not women, and women who are born born with like both penile and vaginal tissue are not women.
Got it.
Is that what you're saying?
How long would it take for like LeBron to become a woman?
If LeBron came out tomorrow and says that he identifies as a woman, he was always a woman because that's how being transgender works. He was a woman that presented as a male.
No, LeBron was a man, and he wants to become.
No one was
LeBron
ever. No one is ever was a man. These people presented as men, but that does not make them men.
Because you can't magically turn into a woman. This is the whole point of our conversation.
Right. You are 100% true.
Yes.
That is why no one magically.
You're born a male. You would die a male.
Trans women know that they are male.
And are men, right?
No, they are not men.
Jeez. Are you guys ever concerned you guys will ever win anything again in politics?
I don't really care about Democrats. I don't really like Democrats. What I actually think is
7 months
is
ago
like,
you did when
like,
I came on here.
Yeah, I wanted for Kamala Harris to win. Yeah.
So now you just give up?
No, that's why I'm still talking to you right now. I think there are bigger issues in politics that can actually help people change their minds.
Like trans people.
Yeah, like advocating for trans individuals. Hell yeah.
Why do they give the same hormone blockers to child molesters as they do to little kids for hormone blockers?
Right, because they found that like in certain dosages, it can have a different effect.
And why do they lie and say it's reversible when it's clearly not reversible?
Most hormone change therapy is actually reversible. That is a fact.
That is not true.
If you can provide a source, I would love that, baby.
When you give the same drug to a child molester to a little kid,
right? And when you take 6,000 milligrams of Advil, you die, right?
Sure.
Right, so it's about the dosage of medication that matters.
The dosage. Okay.
It has always been about the dosage.
Yeah, sure.
It has always been about the dosage.
Yeah, that's why trans suicides are going up in this country dramatically. That's why.
Right, actually no, transgender. Actually no. After they get the hormone blockers. After they get their gender affirming care, their rate of like suicidal ideation and wanting to unalive, it goes down. What actually happens is, and I know the study you're talking about, but I know you didn't read it. It actually increases when people like you open your mouth.
It goes up.
Because of people like you, yes, not because of the treatment.
Not because of people like me.
Okay, then can you provide the study?
It's because of these.
Yeah. Can you provide the source, please? I'll give you some time. I would love for you to provide the
Sick
source.
people lie to little kids. And
Right. I'm so sure of that. But if you could please provide the source that says that.
your ass. Now you have to mute me.
No, it's because you just want to spew. You just want to spout
I'm
hate
not
speech.
spewing anything. I'm speaking straight.
But I would like for you, right? And I would love for you to be able to prove that. I would
They
love
give
for
the
you to be able
same
to prove
hormone blockers to child molesters as they do to kids in kindergarten, all the way up.
Right. And we use fent. We use fentanyl in hospitals, and people die from it in the streets. Did you know that? It's about dosage.
Okay, all about the dosage, right?
It has always been about the dosage.
That's why the suicides go up after they regret it.
The suicides do not increase, and they almost never regret it.
Oh, but they never regret. Okay.
I would love for you to provide a source.
Why are the suicides so high?
Because people like you exist.
Why are the suicides so high after they get their affirming care?
Because after they get gender affirming care, people like you still exist.
Oh, what about people like me?
People like you who are overtly hateful and deny the overall existence of an entire group of people. The fact that it's delusional, that it harms kids, the fact that you bring up child molesters, I think that's very weird, and it makes people think of these types of people differently.
It's facts.
Right, but that's why people don't lie
the same drug they give to child molesters is the same drug they give to hormone blockers.
Right, in the same illicit substances that is killing people in the streets 24/7. It's the same drug that we use in certain medical procedures.
Not reversible.
So you're telling me that fent is not used in hospitals?
We're not talking about fentanyl. We're talking about the same drug they give.
Are you telling me right now that fent is not used in hospitals?
Of course it is. I've been on it.
Okay, so are you? Okay, so right. So are you telling me that when you see it on the streets being used, that it unalives people and ruins people's lives?
Of course it does.
Right. So does that mean that we shouldn't use fent in hospitals?
No, not at all.
So it is about the dosage.
No, it's not about the dosage.
Are you telling me that? Wait a minute. Are you telling me that hospitals use the same dosage of fent that people use on the street?
No, that would be crazy.
Okay, thank you for proving my point.
That would be crazy.
Anyway, let's go on to the next person. He doesn't have any source. But thank you so much for proving my point that it is 100% about dosage and concentration. Thank you. Anyway, let's actually start having a conversation about body count now. My God. Whoa. Anyway, also guys, thank you all so much for the gifts. And if you haven't already, please follow me, turn on that bell. My name is Tashika. I do debates every day, 12 p.m. But thank you so much. I love you. Also, I can't go live on YouTube right now because I am streaming on my phone. But tomorrow I should be able to do the TikTok studio again. I just didn't feel like setting it up. Also, if you do want to support me, my Cash App and Venmo is at the top right here. That helps you come on here every single day. If you do want to subscribe, you can do that as well. But in the meantime, guys, just double tap, have a good time. Also, when you subscribe, you get some really cool emails that you can spam in the chat, and I would love for you to do that while we're talking to people here. Hi, all of you. Thank you, baby. I appreciate you. Hello.
Hey, I just had to say, it do matter for men as much as it do women. That shit is nasty when a man got a high body count too.
I don't think it's nasty for either side to have a high body count. I think it's more dangerous for men to have a higher body count. But I do appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go on to the next person, guys. Give it a second. We'll get some more people in here. Thank you all so much for being here, baby. Hi, how old are you?
23.
Cool. So why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
Well, I was kind of just gonna piggyback off what the last guy said too. I think it's.
Are you gonna also be transphobic, or are you gonna, or the other guy?
No. The most recent guy saying that it matters for guys too because.
Okay, I'm not looking for people who believe that.
All right, but I think it also is a reason for why it's also not good for women because it's like.
Do you think it's equal?
I think it's I maybe not equal because we're both different.
Okay, so do you think it matters more for women? Yes or no?
Not necessarily. I don't.
Okay, then Then there's no point in us having this conversation. Then you should figure it out yourself.
But I'm trying to show you why it's still not good for a woman either. But
I didn't ask why it is or isn't good. If you think it's equal, then there's not necessarily a bias here.
But it does count. Why they shouldn't have a bias.
Then you can go discuss that with someone else. But that's not the conversation I'm having here. Okay?
Man, you
I
sisters don't
appreciate you,
want to
baby.
learn nobody,
I
man. You don't want
appreciate you,
no
baby.
answer. You don't want
I
no
love you.
answer.
Bye. Love you. Bye. Let's go on to the next person. Like if you don't hold like a relevant distinction between men or women, then I don't care what standard you have. There's no contradiction there. Let's go on to the next person, y'all. Give it a second. Like there's no contradiction or showing a bias. Like it's not I don't know why people love to talk about nothing. Hi,
What's
how old
your
are you?
problem with, like, why do you not want it to be equal? Like, what's your argument?
Not want what to be equal. Ooh,
Like,
tracking error number 1.
body counts? Because the guy said something, he said it doesn't matter for women and men.
Right, baby. So
So-
can you go ahead really quickly? Can you go ahead and
Okay.
read what I have here?
I read it. You don't gotta call me baby.
Can you please read it out loud, please, baby?
Bitch, you got a nasty attitude.
Can you read
Bye.
it out loud, please? Okay. So for anyone who may be watching, right, it says, why should a high body count matter for women but not for men? And when people join the live and answer a question that I did not ask, I am not going to speak to them. I think that is a very fair boundary. And I think that this is indicative of the fact that we live in a country where people genuinely cannot read. And instead of actually reading the words on a particular screen or in a book or on paper, they instead respond to the question that they want to respond to and not the question that has been posed to them. It's not that I don't want to learn, it's that I didn't ask. Right? So I would appreciate for people who come up here to actually follow directions. And I know that people call me rude because I am Black and I'm a woman, but me speaking with confidence does not mean that I'm angry. You will know when I'm angry. But you are being afraid of women and being afraid of confident women and intelligent women doesn't mean that they're always angry. But also living in a society like this and you grow up and you're not upset at the circumstances of people's lives or even your life, I would just say that you're delusional and asleep. I would tell you to wake up and actually start looking at the world around you and making some real assessments. And also learning to read. That's always the first one, right? Clock it. Anyway, let's go on to the next person. Let's go on to the next person. Hi, how old are you? Thank you so much for the gifts.
Hi, I'm 24.
Cool. So why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
Personally, I don't think it should.
You
A
ate that,
woman
baby.
can
I
get
appreciate you,
pregnant.
baby. Let's go on to the next person, guys. I did just say that shit. So, personally, I just told you guys that I said that I didn't want to talk to that and I didn't ask. Hi, how old are you?
23.
Cool. So why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
Don't call me an idiot, but I was just saying like spamming
Don't be
it
an idiot.
literally. I'm not. I was literally spamming this in the fucking chat arguing with someone because, dude, the patriarchy in it fucking self. I'm a dude right here, and I've had sex with
Hey,
plenty
baby, I
of
would
fucking
like for you to answer my question, and I would really appreciate that. If you want to have a conversation, you can do that in the comments. Why do you think a high body count should matter for women but not for men?
Well, I agree with you, so you should go to
Okay,
someone
well,
else.
I appreciate you. Let's go on to the next person, guys. Remember, we are just looking for people who believe that high body count should matter for women but not for men. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Cool. So why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
Why should it matter?
Yeah, that's the question.
I think like it's like completely different. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you may think it's different, but that's not the question I asked you, baby.
Okay. Let's start with this premise. Okay, why do you think it doesn't matter?
I believe that there's no relevant distinction between men and women to treat them differently. I also think things like body count don't actually make sense to care about.
Can you slow down, please? Thank you.
Okay, so I don't think there is any relative distinction between men and women that says that we should treat them differently. I think humans engage in sex, and putting values on how much a person has sex doesn't really benefit us as a society and doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There is not a single fact nor study that justifies treating these two groups differently for any reasons based off of the same decision-making skills.
Okay, like when it coincides with relationships.
Even within relationships, there is no justifiable reason to care.
To care? So like
unless
okay.
A person themselves has a particular body count and wants for another person to be around that same level. So I don't care if a virgin wants to be with another virgin. I think that's perfectly fine.
Okay. I understand your premise. So like, okay, let's put it like this. So let's say, I slept with 3 people. And, I talked to someone, I found out they slept with like 30 people. Obviously, I'd be like, okay, get checked out because you've been with 30 people. I don't know like where they've been or who you've been with. right? Obviously for medical reasons. So of course, I'd want to see and coincide with that. You don't think so?
Right. So, what you just described to me here is a bias that you have against people with a high body count, right? Because
No, it's not a necessary bias.
it is. I'm going to tell you why.
No.
The fact
Why
that
is
you
it? Okay.
right, the fact that you were telling them to get checked, that's what you should be doing when you have sex with one person.
Well, obviously.
Right. So this assumption that they're not getting checked is a bias.
No, you're presupposing that I'm being a bias. So no.
No, there's no reason for you to bring that up.
You're presupposing that.
So are you? So wait. So you're telling me that if a person had sex with one person, that you would tell them to get checked?
I mean, we have to look at.
Okay, so that wasn't a no. Right. So that wasn't a yes, right?
Wait,
so you know what I mean. You have a bias.
Yeah. So what do you think with that? You don't think there's any correlation between those two?
Oh, I gotta wipe this off. What?
You don't think there's any correlation between those two?
Correlation between what?
With what I said.
You didn't draw a correlation, baby.
So with someone who has a very high body count, right? It doesn't matter, right? That's what you said. It shouldn't matter. So
that's
the whole with being promiscuous, you don't think it's a
promiscuity
bad
is not a thing. What are you talking about?
It's not a thing.
It's not a real thing that people.
Can you explain to me why it's
not a real thing that people should care about?
No, can you explain? You just keep going back to the point.
Promiscuity is purely based upon whoever you're speaking to. The definition changes time and time again based on who you're speaking to.
Okay, let's start with this. Being promiscuous and sleeping around. You don't think it matters?
No.
No. Why don't
as long as all parties are engaging in it enthusiastically, consensually, and they are having safe sex and getting tested regularly after they do engage in sex, yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's called being a responsible adult who wants to have fun.
Responsible adult. Okay. All right.
I would need you to stop asking me questions and actually engage. If you're just here to ask questions and not and be
like, I just wanted to get your premise.
If you're just here to be an intellectual coward and not actually engage,
intellectual coward. I mean, you're making personal attacks out.
Lavi, thank you so much for the $10 Venmo. I appreciate you. I don't know why. I feel like people keep coming up here and asking me questions, and I'm like, can you engage?
Yo, what's going on? I don't believe.
How old are you? How old are you?
I'm 38.
Okay.
So me personally, I don't believe body count should matter for men or women. But that's also.
I appreciate you, baby.
What's up?
You're not answering my question. You
Why should a high body count matter for women but not for men?
Right. You said you don't think it should matter for either.
Yeah, I don't.
Right, period. Let's go on to the next person, y'all. I appreciate you. Guys, I would really appreciate we answer the question that's being posed. Hi, how old are you?
Hello. So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. So, I think that a high body count should matter for men, but not for women specifically. That's just my point.
Yeah, that's cool, but that also wasn't the question.
Okay, so you're trying to argue with people who have shitty views? Because I'm with that. Okay,
100%.
gotcha.
Appreciate you, baby. Let's go on to the next person, y'all. Give it a second. Hi, how old are you?
30.
Cool. So why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
Because everybody
driving?
wants a door that could be open.
Are you driving?
Of course.
Okay, let's go on to the next person. Give it a second. We'll get some more debates in. Also, if you want for your door to be opened by every key, that means it's a perfect door. The value of something and efficacy of something is purely determined on the person who owns it. Hi, how old are you?
I'm 22.
Cool. So why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
Okay, so are we going to have an educated conversation?
I would love to do so, baby. But we've been through a lot of people who either can't read or have severe tracking errors. So as long as you can read and don't have tracking errors, we will 100% be able to have a good conversation.
Okay. Well, first off, I want to start and say women are the one who create babies. Is that correct?
No.
No.
Females create babies, not necessarily women. There are women who don't get pregnant or create babies.
Okay, so you guys are the one who create a human and keep them inside of them for 9 months, right?
Females for sure.
Okay. So men, we don't have that option, right?
I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, like, there are men who are female.
Okay, well, I'm gonna break it down so it can be simple. What I'm trying to get at.
Please.
So men, we have penises. Women have vagina.
Some men have penises. Some women have vaginas. Yeah.
What do you mean some?
And if my grandmother had 2 wheels, she'd be a bike. Go.
There's
Make
men
your
and
argument.
There's 2 genders.
Can you? No, there's not.
There's 2 genders. There's men and women.
There is conceptually an infinite amount of genders.
Okay, well, I get where your mindset is at. So this conversation is pointless.
Oh, you're just a pussy. You can leave though.
I mean, if that's what you think, sure.
I mean, hell yeah, skinny calves. Go through.
Okay.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much.
You're gonna insult me?
You just said that I'm not worth having a conversation with because other cultures exist.
There's more than 2 genders. This conversation is pointless.
Right, because there are more, because gender is a man-made thing, right? And we can make up as many genders as we want for any reason. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, gender is a man-made thing, right?
Yes, it is. It is a social construct.
Well, have you read the Bible?
Fuck the Bible. Have you read
Here we go,
Dr.
people.
I'm sorry. Have you read Dr. Seuss?
Here we go, people.
Have you read Animal Farm?
You quote Dr. Seuss. We're having a conversation.
You quote the Bible. They're both equally real. What are you talking about?
Okay. Well, she's uneducated, people.
Oh, so I'm uneducated because I don't believe in fairy tales?
We've seen all we needed to see.
Oh, you're scared. Intellectual coward.
All right, cool.
You're scared. Can I get some baby emojis in the chat? It's an eepy baby.
It doesn't take a rocket science to realize why women body count matter and men doesn't.
He's being stinky. He's being stinky, chat. Stinky poo poo baby.
I'm assuming you hate men too, right?
No, I actually love men.
Do you?
I do. I believe that a lot of the issues that we have in our society is because we don't love men. But I think that men need to be able to take accountability for certain things and dismantle the systems of which they created.
Okay, well, I can say the same thing for women. You guys hate accountability.
Right. So what system did women create? And I will gladly advocate for that.
What do you mean? What system did women create?
Right, you ate that, sis. You ate that, baby. Anyway, so can we continue with the body count conversation?
I mean, if you'd like to.
I would actually love to.
Okay.
So why do you think it should matter for women but not for men?
I just think that women are spiritual creatures and they should care about
spirits aren't real, and women are physical beings like men are.
They should care about who they let inside of their bodies.
I agree.
Right. And as men, we don't really let people enter inside of us. It's kind of the opposite.
Men do enter, or men enter another man a lot, actually. They enter into themselves.
Okay, well, we're talking about a man and a woman in a relationship.
I also enter men. When I was in relationships with men, I also entered them as well.
That's the only way a baby can be created.
I don't know why you're talking about babies. What's the point?
Because you guys are the vessel for human creation.
A vessel? Who cares? Why is that relevant?
Why is it relevant to our conversation? Why should a high body count matter for women?
Right. So what does body count have anything to do with reproduction?
Well, the more people you let inside of you, the more likely you are to have a baby.
I have a 0% chance. I could have sex with 500 people. I have a 0% chance of having a baby. You want to know why? Because I'm aborting it. Continue.
Okay, so you agree with abortion?
Hell yeah, but we're not having that conversation right now. It doesn't matter how many people I have sex with, right? I do have safe sex, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many. It doesn't matter how many people I have sex with. The chance of me
there's no
giving
way
birth,
people in the comments agree with you. There's no way.
I'm telling you how it works. The chance of me having a baby is 0%.
Why? Because you just won't let it happen.
Hell yeah, I won't let it happen. Murder Mommy Gang, MMG! MMG chat.
You're free to
Murder
just
Mommy Gang in the chat.
You're free to fuck any man or whatever. How many?
I am free. I am free to sleep with any man.
5-10 minutes a day if you want to.
Hell yeah, buddy.
And you don't care because if you do get pregnant, you're just gonna abort it.
On God, sending it back to Jesus. That's like the most moral thing I could do.
So that's why body count doesn't matter for you.
Wait a minute, aren't you a Christian? Wouldn't you agree?
That's why body count doesn't matter for you because you're gonna abort the baby.
No, body count doesn't matter because there's no relevant distinction between men and women that says we should treat them differently. And body count is just like a weird standard. There's no actual like efficacy behind it. But also, like, aren't you Christian? Wouldn't abortion be like the most merciful thing I can do for my child?
We're not talking about religion, okay?
Oh, you're scared.
Okay, sure. I like having conversations like this, but I feel like as the conversation
But you keep
goes
running
on,
from it though. You keep ad homing me.
not even.
You keep ad
Like,
homing me.
I feel like
it seems like you're very afraid to have a conversation, right? I can have the religious discussion, I can have the abortion discussion, I can have the body count discussion, whichever discussion you want for me to have, I will 100% have it with you. But you keep ad homing me to get away from the argument.
you don't even know like the answer to your own question.
That's another ad hom, baby. I would like for you to be able to engage. The first thing you said to me was asking if I could engage in these conversations, and here you are, explicitly not engaging in the conversation. What's going on?
I did engage.
No, you did not. You kept asking me questions and said, "Oh, you're lost, blah, 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 blah." You kept making these statements about my character
There's
to
obviously
devalue
reasons.
my argument.
There's obviously reasons as to why you feel.
And
like
I would
this.
love.
You don't like men,
but wouldn't it be? I love men though.
No,
love
you
men.
don't.
I
No, you
fucking.
don't.
You don't understand how much I love men. I
You
love
don't like men.
I love Peyton.
You
I
support
love my
abortion.
friend David and Jaden and Hambles.
You aren't Christian.
I love my friend Miel. I love men.
What are those
love
like
men.
gay men in your life or something?
I have both gay, trans, and straight men in my
right,
life.
right. Of course.
I'm actually about to call Peyton later today. Talk
Peyton
to
doesn't
Peyton.
wanna-
Just chat
Pey-
shit.
He doesn't want to speak to you because you
Dude, we were playing Fortnite together a couple
you
days ago.
support abortion.
You
and
think wait a minute? You think Peyton Vanessa cares about abortion? Thank you for the sub. You think, brother?
you hate men too. You hate straight men.
Peyton is a straight man.
Your glasses aren't prescription.
They are.
No, they're not.
Okay, baby.
Are you just gonna stare at me?
I am waiting for you to continue the conversation.
Well, I think I made a valid point.
What point was that, baby?
We've also gained more information about you and how you think. The fact that you don't support abortion. The fact that you do support abortion, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you hate straight men.
I love straight men.
And the fact that you think that you could have sex with 10 men a day and that won't affect you spiritually or
spirits aren't real.
Or
it could probably affect a person, but
I'm not saying spirits are real.
If it's not, if you said spirit, but if it's not something that can hurt you, it won't hurt you. The only reason that it would really hurt me is if like men are awful, right?
So the fact that you think that women's body count don't matter is because you feel like if you did create a baby with one of these men, you would just abort it.
On God. On God.
Men, we don't have that ability to create babies. We do.
Right, so you don't have to get abortions.
It takes two to tango. But
and it's gonna take one to kill it. Hello.
the baby is not gonna be inside of us for 9 months. It's gonna be inside of you.
It's not gonna be inside of me either.
Okay. You get what I'm saying?
No.
Yes, you do.
It's not gonna be inside of either of us.
All right.
If anything, I'm gonna put a baby in him.
Nah, that's not how that works.
The way I be fucking my men.
That's TMI. What man would want to be with a woman who doesn't think her body count matters?
You'd be so surprised. Good men. Men who know where
Good
the clit
men?
is. Go ahead, really quickly, Beam. Describe to me where a clitoris is located.
It's on the butt. It's in the butthole, right?
Nice. It might be in your butthole. Anyway, let's go to the next person, y'all. And it's definitely in mine. Hello! Boom! No, what the fuck? Oh, shit. Your audio's messing up, baby.
Can you hear me?
Oh, here you are. I just want to say something. It's definitely in mine. See, the way 1 second, you have an echo. You might have to rejoin. Hold on. The way that my clitoral structure is, right? So you have the actual vagina, right? I'm gonna teach you guys something. You have the actual vagina. Then you have the urethra, right? And then you have the clitoris. The clitoris literally looks like this, right? With two Johns coming down, right? Now, lock in, chat. Lock in. So imagine the boo boo hole is right here. Listen! Imagine the boo boo hole is right here. The way mine works is that the two strands of the clitoral structure is actually longer for me. It's a lot longer for me. So for a lot of people, that those two arms only extend around the actual vaginal opening, right? But mine actually expand down to my rectum. So technically, hey, W genetics. Boom! Hey, somebody said, "Let me see." That's enough. You know what I mean? Hey, you know what I mean? And you know you could go anywhere and I'll feel it. W genetics. Sorry. Anyway, all right. How about you?
Yo,
What do you mean
said
W genetics?
you said as a Christian, you need to be pro-abortion.
I didn't say that.
You literally said that by the guy to the guy before.
No, the argument that I was making is that it is the most moral thing to do because, let me ask you, do you think the set of circumstances on earth or in heaven are better?
On heaven.
Right. So, when babies die, do they go right to heaven?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense. So you think it's okay to kill good Christians because they will go to heaven?
I didn't say that.
Yes. By that logic, you said that.
No, because they may have already sinned, and I don't know what a good Christian would be. But we know for 100% that a baby or a fetus is always sinless. I don't know if even a good Christian is sinless, but a baby.
Okay, but
I'm not done speaking. But a baby is always sinless. They don't even have the capacity to sin. And since they are essentially on the level of Jesus, if we unalive them, they go straight to heaven. This is your world point.
Okay, yeah. Are you a Christian?
Hell no.
Okay.
I don't believe in fairy tales. I'm an adult.
All right. Yeah. Okay. This is useless, bro. I'm sorry.
Thank you, baby. Thank you. Also, guys, if you want to support me, he left. My Cash App and Venmo goes by this. I do appreciate all you guys so much. We're doomed. That's what we said. I wasn't listening. Oh my goodness, Shane has some really cute people on. Thank you, baby. Thank you so much. Hi, how old are you?
25.
Cool. Why do people look? Oh, they're from Jubilee. Cool. So, why do you think that high body count should matter for women?
No, I actually don't. I just wanted to come in and just say that I think you're really funny. Not the last guy, the one before him with the yellow For You page, whatever the profile picture, whatever his name was. Mm-hmm. I only joined the conversation halfway through, but you were killing him with some of the stuff you were saying. It was really funny. I am personally a Christian, but I do also think that abortion should definitely be a thing that I see abortion as the same as anything else. Who are we to make like a law?
I gotta move on, baby, but I appreciate you though.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry
I
about
love you,
that.
baby. No, I appreciate you, baby. Let's go on to the next person, y'all. I appreciate you. Hold on. Oh, this person's not here. Let's go on to the next person. Thank you all so much. Oh, shit. Too late. Anyway, you can re-request. Let's go on to the next person, y'all. Give it a second. Oh, my goodness. Hi, how old are you?
I'm 22.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, cool. Okay, so why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men, baby?
In all actuality, I believe it's a hygienic thing. Like, okay, so is it okay if I ask you a personal question?
Okay.
Do you have sex with or without condoms?
I have sex both with and without condoms.
Okay, so that's the main thing right there. I really believe it's a hygienic thing. So it's like a big difference between men and women. With men,
big difference for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually putting my appendage inside of you, and like if it's like good and everything, then I'm actually releasing. Like
You're gonna release her either way.
I mean, I guess, but the thing is, you gotta think about it. No, like if you were to have sex with a person that just basically bust inside you, and then you end up having sex with a whole nother person, you gotta think about it. That whole nother person is going to be like, basically tasting the other guy. It's really a hygienic
Doesn't that
thing.
sound unhygienic for the other person?
Yes, it does, but you gotta think
So
about
then it's
it.
not it's not unhygienic for me.
That's what you're not getting what I'm saying. You're not getting what I'm saying.
Yeah, but this would be for men, not for the vagina holder, right? Because real quick, whose genitals are self-cleaning?
Hold on, can you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
Which one of our genitals is self-cleaning?
I mean, technically yours.
Not technically. It's only mine. So,
But you gotta
yeah,
think
it's
about it.
only,
You have
it's
to clean
only,
an
it's
entire
only.
opening. Hold on, you gotta think about it. You gotta clean an entire opening.
It's not an entire opening. Thank you for the lock and key, baby.
Yes, it
yeah.
is. That's exactly what it is.
No.
Like, what do you mean? No, bro, it's a reason why it's called the vaginal opening for a reason.
Right, you're acting like it's a cavern.
I mean, some women can be shallow or deep. You should know that, being a woman.
Right, but that the only difference is like maybe a couple inches. It doesn't go to my chest.
Even if it is only a couple inches, you gotta think about it. Like, be for real. Like,
I want to let you know, there's no way you've been with a shallow vagina. Everyone's deep to you, huh?
What? No. Okay.
Every vagina's deep to you, huh?
This isn't about me. This is not about me right now.
Oh my god! They're so sad! Damn, you know that one fucking hit him, bro. You know that one hit him. I'm not gonna lie. Damn, run it up, chat. Oh my god. I am so funny. Holy shit. Anyway, hi, how old are you?
Hi, I'm like 30. I just want to know, what would he think? Like, what would make him think, like, oh, females have shallow vaginas?
Well,
Like, who taught him that?
some females do, like shallow in the sense of like the average length. I believe the average length is about 5 inches. Some people have 6
Yes.
inches. Some people have just below 5 inches. But it's not like it's
but
very minuscule.
It's not that deep. Yeah,
No,
like,
it literally isn't that deep.
Exactly. He acts like he has the biggest penis in his world.
He
and
definitely
it's
did. You saw the
not.
way he left? Yeah.
Yes,
In shame.
I don't
With
get
his
it, like-
with his thing between his legs. I gotta move on though. I do appreciate you, baby.
All right, bye.
I appreciate you, my love. Let's go on to the next person, y'all. Give it a second. It's not that deep, but it is to him. Hello. Anyway. Hi, how old are you? Hello. I don't think this person's here. Let's go on to the next person, y'all. Man, I miss these, man. I miss these debates, man. Shoot. It's a good old days. I appreciate y'all. Also, guys, don't forget to support me, follow me, and turn on that bell because it does you every single time I go live. I go live every day at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, this is my Cash App Venmo if you want to support me over there as well. I do appreciate you all so much. If you want to keep letting me, 1 second, if you want to keep letting me be hot on live streams, you can subscribe because that's one of the best ways to support me. Hi, how old are you?
Oh, I'm 22.
Cool, baby. So why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
Oh, I don't think it does matter. I just want to say hi. I just really love you. I love your content.
Of course, baby. I appreciate you.
Yeah, anyways, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Let's go on to the next person, guys. Give it a second. We'll get some more people in. Let's give it a second, y'all.
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 22.
Cool. So, why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
I don't think it does. I'm not an op. I just want to say you're so pretty and you be cooking these niggas up. Also, I'm gay. And I have like a body count of like 500 and nobody's going to call me a whore. Like, suck my dick.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go on to the next person. Guys, remember. Careful. Oh, wow. That's 2 back-to-back. Thank you so much. Oh, he was about to... Taterbug, thank you so much. I appreciate you, baby. And then it was someone else, but I forgot. I didn't see it. But thank you so much. Hello. Hi, how old are you?
19.
Cool. So, why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
I think it's if a female decides to disrespect herself,
A woman.
a woman decides to disrespect herself by
Good boy.
lying with 500 men, I think that's disgusting, and it would ruin her experience.
Why is it disrespectful for a woman to engage in sex with 500 men?
I think also for men as well.
Okay, so why is it disrespectful? I'm actually curious.
Because you're disrespecting your body.
Okay, so I heard you the first time. The question was why?
Yeah, because your body's meant to be like sanctuary. It's meant to be clean.
Meant to be? Who made my body?
God.
He's not real.
So who made your body?
My body was not made. It was developed in a womb, and then in his mind upon birth.
Okay, but if you go all the way back, there was a first
If we go, that doesn't mean it was your God. It doesn't mean that it was a God. It doesn't mean it was conscious. Just because there had to have been some kind of like Aquinas initial mover doesn't mean that it's your God or any religion that is actually being represented on earth.
But it is a God, right?
No.
It doesn't have to be mine, but
no, there is no God. And even if that's the case, though, you don't get to make the argument that he has any kind of particular morals.
Why is that?
Because he's not real. I don't care to have this hypothetical conversation. We'd have to prove that he's first even conscious enough to have these type of moral preferences. But we're not going to do that right now, are we?
All right, we'll just leave that there because you don't want to talk about it.
Leave it there because it's not real. I'm not going to discuss with another adult a fairy tale.
That's what you believe. But
that is what the fact is.
So if you was to sleep with 500 men, do you not think you're harming your body?
No, if anything, sex is actually quite healthy.
Says who?
Says any biologist, anyone who does things with the body. It burns calories. It can actually make my pelvic floor stronger. Like, for example, is the vagina a muscle?
Yeah.
Right. So when you go to the gym, what do you do to get stronger?
You build muscle.
But how?
By lifting, working out.
Right, by using your muscles.
Right. So why not use it with your
stop
spouse?
Stop talking. Vix, thank you so much for the $6.66. Yeah, can I get a 666 in the chat? Thank you so much. Right, so when a female is engaging in sex, is her vagina not releasing and contracting in use?
I'm not against sex.
I didn't ask you that question. I asked you if when a female is engaging in sex, is the vagina in use and releasing and contracting? Right. So then if your muscles get stronger when you go to the gym, why wouldn't my vaginal muscles get stronger when I have sex?
Yeah, but why does it have to be with different men?
Well, it doesn't have to be with different men, but I would have chose for it to be with different men.
Why not just one guy that you love?
Who gives a damn? Who cares? What if I don't just love one man? What if I love 500 men? What if I have a harem?
So say if you was to get pregnant by like 500.
I'm not going to get pregnant. And if I do, it's not living.
Oh,
there's a 0% chance that I will give birth.
Forever, like you made that decision.
Forever.
You never want kids.
No. I may adopt in the future. I might be a rich aunt. I already am a rich aunt. But I'm never going to give birth.
So you don't want a lineage? You don't want...
I will have a lineage regardless if I give birth.
Okay.
I have 7 siblings and 17 nieces and nephews. And again, I can adopt. My genetics have nothing to do with my lineage.
Are you against marriage?
I don't care for marriage. Marriage is something that only benefits those who want a tax incentive to be legally bound to another person. If we realize that we would actually make more money by being married, then I will get married to whoever I'm with.
But how do you think he would feel if he was like around the block?
If he was around the block, I've had the most satisfying experiences with men who have had a lot of sex.
Yeah. It's like, say if I was to go to a restaurant and I've been there and I've been to so many restaurants, and then if me and you was to go to...
My body is not a restaurant.
The way you treat it.
There is no such thing as bad pussy.
Well.
And you're 19, so I'm not going to engage in that conversation with you. Yeah. But if you're comparing pussy to a restaurant that you've been to your whole life, you've never had sex before. It's clear that I'm talking to a virgin. I'm going to tell you this right now. Not even water is good every time. Pussy is good every time.
Well, have you had pussy before? How'd you
Hell
know?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I am celibate. I'm still a
Right.
virgin.
Work on that, Betty. Let's go on to the next person. There's not much of a conversation we can have right now. Hey, let that shit go. Let it sink in. Let that sink in. Okay? A God might be real. Because the one thing on earth that's good every time, it's gonna be puss. Anyway, how old are you?
I'm 19.
Cool. Do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
No. I just wanted to ask, are you against abortion?
Hell no.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I don't need to be up here.
I appreciate you, baby. Let's go on to the next person, y'all. Give it a second. We'll get some more people up here. If you do want to support the live, don't forget to share, like, follow me if you haven't already, and please subscribe. That helps me come on here every single day. Also, if you want to make sure I get 100% of the proceeds that you send me, if you do want to gift me, this is my Cash App and Venmo. That's one of the best ways to gift me because TikTok takes 60% of my gifts now. So, yikes. Also, I did post a new video, so please go watch and like that and share that as well. Hi, how old are you?
Hi, I'm 20.
Cool. So, why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
I don't. I just wanted to talk to you about some of the other stuff.
I didn't give you consent to that.
To what?
To talk to me about literally anything else.
Okay. Well, do you want to? I mean, I'm not saying unrelated, just related to this, just not about the. I don't think it should matter.
Then there's not much of a conversation that we can have right now.
Okay.
I don't want to derail the live.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good
DMs
one.
are open though. Let's go on to the next person, y'all. Give it a second. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you all. I'm not mean. I think if you think a person setting boundaries is mean, you have some deconstructing to do, baby. Hi, how old are you?
I'm 24.
Cool. So why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
Whoa. I just joined. Hold on, give me a second. I would say it matters because personally, I don't have a lot my damn self. So I wouldn't want a woman that has that many on her. That's pretty much it. You know, I don't want a woman that kind of cherishes her body a little bit and not just gives it to men.
Stop talking. 1 second. So what about a woman having a high body count means that she doesn't cherish herself?
Well, I'm just going off basic experience. Most of the women that I've talked to, I'm not gonna say all, but most have either been touched a little bit, and
what
they
does that have
kind
to
of
do with? Okay.
Let me finish, please.
No, actually, I'm going to stop you right there. What does that have to do with self-respect?
I'm just going off of what I've been through, the conversations I've had.
So it sounds
and
like you're a bad person. I'm going to stop you right there, buddy. What does sexual assault, non-sexual non-consensual sexual interaction? Oh, he left. These. That made my stomach drop. They don't have any self-respect because they were assaulted. Whoa. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It freaks in here. Hi, how old are you?
I am 30.
Ma'am, are you driving?
I am driving.
I do have to move on. You're not allowed to be driving on TikTok Live. So when you pull over or get out of the car, I can let you back up. But I do have to move on, baby. Let's go on to the next person, y'all. Give it a second. In the meantime, guys, don't forget, I have my gift goal at top as well as my sub goal. Please subscribe to me. Not please. You should subscribe to me. I'm so cute, so funny, and ridiculous. And you should support me. Thank you. Hi, how old are you?
Hi. I'm 21.
Okay, so do you think that high body count should matter for women, but not for men?
Girl, absolutely not, because I am not attracted to women. One thing I do want to say is, Tashika, I love you. I love you so much, girl. You are the best person ever. Keep on doing what you do. I love you. You an OG. You an OG. Keep going, girl. You got this. You got this.
Thank you, baby. I gotta move on. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, you guys are so cute. Stop.
Hey,
Oh
how's it
God.
going?
Hi, how old are you? Markia, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate you.
I'm 22.
Cool. So, do you think that high body count should matter for women, but not for men?
So no, but I think very related to this, we have a point we might disagree on. I think it should matter in general, but when it regards to like men versus women, I think there's a small distinct difference here that's valuable. Oh, sorry, I'll go on. I thought okay. So first of all, hi, great to see you, and I love your lipstick. It's super cool.
Thank you, Santana, for the 5 gifted subs. W's in the chat for Santana. Thank you so much. Thank you.
My argument comes just from a biological perspective when it comes to like, what it means in terms of a 9-month carry period for a woman for having a child, and for men taking, it takes like a man, for instance, could get people pregnant from like age like however long up until like his 80s or something, but a woman's window is shorter. So when it comes to selectivity of partners, I think there's something different between men and women that makes it so that there's more of a consequence for women largely. Obviously this has changed a little bit with contraception, but I think there's more of a biological consequence and like pain period. You understand this with childbirth, etc. When it comes to like women having to make decisions about sexual partners, I think they should be more what's the word? They should be more choosy than men should be. And so I think if men have a higher count, it's generally seen societally as like,
I don't care.
Oh, okay. Well, just you mean like what society thinks about it, or?
I didn't ask you about societal views. I know the societal views. You don't really have to mansplain that to me.
Oh no, yeah, that's fair.
I
I
live within society.
Yeah, sure. No, I wasn't trying to, mansplain or anything. But I was just trying to say that I think that is why society reflects that, is because the biological.
I didn't ask, and also no, that's not the case. But also, yeah, no, women do not have more of a biological risk, because all women have to do is not give birth.
Well, isn't the cost for intercourse higher on the woman just because of the risk of pregnancy?
No, because I would just kill it.
Well, okay, that's fair. But in a lot of cultures, and whether or not this is right or wrong, women aren't afforded that privilege that you might think is a right.
And they should be able to engage in as much sex as they want and not get pregnant as much as they want. And whether or not a particular society doesn't allow for these things, I think these societies should allow for these things, and that's the main point here.
And
if they live in a society that doesn't allow for these things, I think we should advocate for that. And also, obviously, I believe that women should make good decisions. If a woman knows that she is in a land in which it's going to be harder for her to not get pregnant, then I wouldn't judge her for not engaging in as much sexual interaction. I think that people should still be responsible, but I also don't think we should live in these male-run societies in which women don't have control over their own bodies and destiny.
Totally. I actually don't disagree with your point there. I think what I'm concerned with is if the landscape, as you've conceded, is actually largely making it so that even with the risk of abortion, the risk of medical complication for death, or societal pressure forcing women to, not have sex as much, women should, as intelligent as they are, as intelligent as men are, we are, humans, we should be cognizant of those societal structures making it.
Yeah, no, I think I think this worldview that you're having here makes it so that these societal structures are just going to exist for no reason and are incapable of change. I think changing our behaviors is necessary for societal structures to change. And so if women want to engage in more casual sex, it would either just simply not be with men, or with men that are respectable, or find ways for them to still be able to achieve things like contraception and abortion, regardless of the society that they live in.
That's true, and that's in point touche. However, and I'll give one back if you allow. I'd say within the rules of the game, you're saying, well, then we should break the rules of the game. But at some point, it's like, well, I think maybe cars should be driven backwards on the highway. And it's like, well, at some point, you're just going to run into a wall.
Well, then you can. Well, no, you're not going to run into a wall unless a wall exists. And also, you can keep driving the car backwards on the highway until other people also start. Like, you can start crashing as much as possible, right? But when other people start seeing you drive your car on the other side, people are going to start driving their car on the other side. And at some point, the society that you live in is going to acclimate to that. There's no wall there. There's always going to be a road. There's only going to be a wall there if if someone puts a wall there. And if that's the case, drive through it or drive around it. The point is to keep going against a particular negative grain that we have in our society until something does change, or just start burning shit down. That always works historically.
That's fair. So it's largely a contention of, are we driving through the wall or driving around it? I think most people, for the sake of their life reputation, are driving around this wall. And so,
well, revolutionaries don't typically think about things that are for their life or reputation. They don't care about that. Revolutionaries either drive through the wall, or drive around the wall. Either way, they're going to be driving on that side of the road.
Most people are not revolutionaries, and while you and I might be on one side of it,
right? That doesn't mean anything though. But this worldview that you're having here is going to it's literally going to be like the same argument that people made when it came to like my people not being slaves anymore, or my people not having like particular laws made against us. And I don't think you want to reduce that right now.
Touche. I do think, however, the wall is largely biological, not just societal.
The wall is not biological by any means. We have progressed, like medically, beyond that so far. Even people in early humans, like not even early humans, but like early modern humans, like Egyptians, have already found ways for contraceptions and abortions long before we even had the medical science that makes it safer and more accurate these days. So no, we are far past that. Yeah. Any kind of biological issue that we have beyond our own chromosomes is very solvable these days.
Contraceptive advent is a great point. I will say one last thing, and this is kind of a question for you, is Bonnie Blue, for instance, stuff like that online. Do you consider...
I don't know who that is.
She's like this lady who's like slept with 1,000 men in 24 hours, something gross.
Oh, that girl?
Yeah.
I don't think that was gross.
Oh, okay. So that was really my question. It was like, do you hold a limit for men or women when it comes to...
I don't hold a limit. I don't care. I thought the way people were treating her was awful. I would like to like see exactly like where her head was at, because what makes... I actually wrote about this a while ago. What makes having sex with 1,000 men like a problem is how those men treat you, and how those experiences are. Right? A person can be in pain. These men could be violent. We don't know what happened to her behind these closed walls, but it's not having sex that's the problem. It's who you're having sex with that's the problem.
When it comes to the emotional attachment consequences of sex and seeing those sorts of things,
there's not always an emotional attachment consequence of sex. If anything, men are more likely to have that emotional attachment that you're referring to.
Okay, could you expand on that?
Right, so the particular hormones that are released during sex and released in higher volumes in men, these hormones that cause things like possessiveness, love, things like that, they release more in sex.
When we think about the best sex possible, it's typically the sex that is associated with an emotional connection.
Not at all.
You don't think so?
No. I don't care what we think about. It's just not true.
Okay. I've just always, I think the cultural nomenclature, and again, you might buck against this, has been that that
doesn't mean anything to me.
That's fair, but
I would have to stop you because I don't care. I think that would just be a waste of our time. I think cultures don't have to, they're not required to believe in things that are true. I don't care about what a culture believes. They can be wrong. There are cultures based upon religion. Dumb. You know what I mean? So I don't really care about what a culture's like nomenclature is.
Okay. In the experience, in my personal experience, and I feel as though this is shared, and granted, you argue against the culture, but I will say, at least anecdotally, the moments of intimacy that I've had with people where there's been a predicate of relationship, actual love, it's like mutual respect.
Well, sexuality and the truths of sex are two different things. There are some people who engage in these things better when they have an emotional connection, right? You're just a sapiosexual, but not everyone is like that. Well, not sapio, demisexual, sorry. There are some people who need that emotional connection. There are some people that don't need that emotional connection. Neither of these things are actual requirements to be able to have world-breaking, mind-shattering sex.
Do you think sex's like evolutionary and historic linkage to like childbearing and a family raising, which like is, kids do better with parents in the house? Do you think that sort of linkage has made it so that like sex does feel better generally?
Well, this linkage is typically this linkage typically goes hand in hand with a society in which most women did not have rights and were only used as political capital, and that's why they had children. People did not have children out of love, and also when you look back and look at the overall like standing of these children, they did not grow up happy at all, right? So like I don't know why you brought that up in particular, because these societies were not happy and these women were not happy. It is actually like this whole like children can be born in mixed families, or in families where the parents date others or have sex with others. Obviously you shouldn't bring that around the child, have the child grow up and be a kid, but that doesn't mean that the children are not going to be able to grow up in a stable household. These two things are not connected, and what you're referring to is an era where women didn't have rights.
Right. That makes sense. Do you think when it comes to polygamy, either male-centered or female-centered, that there's any preference, or do you just think there's a bad taste in the mouth of historic male-centered polygamy?
Like preference for what? Like
Where
the
yeah, so like polygamy as like there's one guy and like 4 wives, or one woman and like 5 husbands or whatever. Do you think do you attach moral qualifications to any type of like relationship?
Well, the moral qualifications would come from the context of it, right? Like if a man and 4 women genuinely all love each other, I don't give a fuck. If a 1 woman and 4 men, all love each other, I don't give a fuck. Like I don't really care. Like it's dependent on why these relationships exist and how they treat others.
Do you think it's possible to observe one husband with 4 wives outside of the historical context of like polygamy from the ancient Near East all the way extended through the Mormon church in a negative light? Or do you think it's possible for there to be a man with 4 wives or something without it being viewed as a negative thing?
Well, it could be a negative thing based off how he views women in general.
Okay.
Like for example, like in a lot of like Islamic like traditions, or in the religion, I don't know, I don't really care. Men are allowed to have multiple wives, and they're allowed to have multiple wives because there were more women than men, and women needed to get married to have rights. That's why polygamy was like a thing. I think things like that is terrible and disgusting. Just give the women fucking rights.
Besides that's fair. Besides non-consent or kind of like dubious consent of like cheating or something, are there sexual ethic guidelines that you like specifically adhere to from an ideological perspective? Not
sexual ethic guidelines, anything. I don't care about what any person does, as long as it doesn't capitulate to things like pedophilia or a lack of consent.
Right. Yeah. So non-consent things. Okay. But do you think cheating is ethically wrong?
I think cheating is ethically wrong. It is a type of abuse.
Okay. Even if it's public, like even if it's like cheating, but they know that they're being cheated on,
then it's not cheating. If a person has consented to another person going on outside of their relationship, it's not cheating.
What if they say they don't want it, but the person continues to cheat? And
that is called abuse.
That's abusive. Even if they have the option to leave.
Right, and they don't, that is still abuse, right? Because again, any abuse victim necessarily has the option to leave, but it's whether or not you feel like you can, that's the issue, or whether or not you love the person. But again, the other person that's cheating is also choosing to still be in that relationship. It's still abuse.
If you had one thing that you could say, if you would sum up your entire kind of like worldview or sexual ethic kind of like consortium.
One second. I see a lot of people complaining in the chat, and I'm going to set a boundary with you guys really quickly. You don't pay me enough to make me skip someone.
Yeah, I don't get paid either.
One second. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm no Cash Apps, no Venmos, not even a fucking gift from all the people commenting. And you're telling me to skip? Are you 5 years old? Anyway, continue.
Thanks. If you would sum up, a lot of times I like to ask people, what's the best kind of like worldview clip or like phrase that sums up how they think the world should be moving in one way or another. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to ask you that. I'd rather ask if you could give, of all the things you said or written about, if you had 10 seconds or 20, 30 seconds to tell someone your fundamental worldview as it regards to just sex and like society in general, what would you say?
In regards, I don't know. I don't know if I would hold. Well, actually, no, I could actually. I would say that like my main principles would have to be complete and utter enthusiastic consent. Knowledge is very important as well. I think it's important for people to have the knowledge of who they're having sex with, why they're having sex, and consent to all of these things. I think there's a matter of transparency that must be available in order for sex to be, moral, right? These are the main sexual principles that I live by.
Okay, so consent and knowledge, like full assent as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, great. I mean, do you have any questions for me? I think I'm running out. All right, sweet. Hey, thanks for your time, Tashika. I appreciate it. Take care.
Of course. Thank you so much. Let's go on to the next person. Y'all give it a second. Thank you all so much for the gifts and money, and I appreciate you. Yeah, you know what I mean? I just you know what I mean, chat? Like, I just don't appreciate when people do that. You know what I mean? I just don't appreciate when people tell me to skip someone and I'm like, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, let's lock in. Let's set a boundary there, okay? Okay? Let's go on to the next person, y'all. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Hi, how old are you?
Hi, I'm 26.
Cool. So why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
I just feel like, obviously, not for the girls that want to have kids, because it's not a necessity to have kids, but it's just more of like,
yeah, it was respectful. Go ahead.
It's more like, it's a personal view, right? But I just feel like
most views are personal.
True. I just feel like the term protecting your temple.
In the context of a body?
Yeah.
My body's not a temple. My body's a body. Frankie, thank you so much for the $4.44.
You wouldn't consider your body as a temple?
My body is my body.
What does that mean though? Like, do you not
my
take
body? My body is not an object, and my body is something that I currently reside in at all times. You can leave a temple, and you can't take a temple other places. But my body is mine. It is my property. It is my body.
Okay. So obviously, everyone's entitled to ruin their property in a sense, if they want.
Yeah, they can, but within the context of a body count, I would actually make the opposite argument. It's not ruining anyone's body.
Do you not think? Oh, so you don't believe in like soul ties or like?
Unless you can prove the existence of a soul, no.
Oh, now that's you. We going deep. We just took a hard left.
You brought it up, baby.
So what? You don't believe in souls?
Souls are not real.
No way. So you just think you're floating atoms and
technically, yeah, we're atoms and molecules all brought together. These molecules and atoms work together to make something that we understand as sentience. And yeah.
Right. So in the concepts of like dreaming and thoughts and
dreaming is a physical thing that your brain does.
Physical.
Yes.
How is it physical though? If you can't.
So scientists don't actually know the exact reason why we dream. There are a lot of theories that go over it, but it's essentially like your brain making up different scenarios. Like while you sleep, your brain orders all your thoughts. It gets everything ready for the next day. And sometimes when you're sleeping, you just get to witness some of it.
Okay. So
that has nothing to do with the spirit. That's just a phenomenon that happens in our body. There are a lot of phenomenons. Like for example, our brains are terrifying. Did you know you technically have two brains?
Yeah, the left side and the right side, right?
There's two people living inside of you. You just happen to be the most dominant one.
I wouldn't consider that two people.
It's just like it essentially is. Both sides are sentient, and when they're not connected, they remain sentient.
Do you know what? That's like the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other.
No, it's not. Both. No, your brain isn't evil.
Crazy.
No, it's not. It's not crazy. Neither side of your brain is necessarily evil. They just communicate with each other, and whichever one wins is the one that you are.
So you don't believe in morals or evil or good then?
I believe that evil and good exist as concepts, and I do have morals. Everyone has morals. Morals exist outside of the existence of a god or spirituality.
No, but morals.
Morals are like an evolutionary trait within humans.
But then that's crazy to say though, because that means you don't believe in love. That means you don't believe in love then.
All of these things exist sans religion or spirituality.
No, in terms of like moral compass though. If that makes
Morals
sense.
exist without religion.
But but morals derive from religion.
No, they do not. Morals are an evolutionary trait within humans.
How though?
Right, because early human beings obviously found that it's probably, as social beings, as beings who operate within groups, that it's probably not good for us to just unalive each other, right?
Well,
and it's I don't know why you're interrupting me.
Okay, go on.
Okay,
go on,
so it's probably not a good job for us to unalive each other over little things, right? Because if we start unaliving each other in mass, Vex, thanks so much for the sub, we are more likely to die as an entire group because we have less people because no one wants to live in a world like that.
Why do you care
I don't know why you're
more?
talking over me again.
Why? Okay.
I don't know why you're talking over me again.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. And these things manifest as we, progress socially, societally, and evolutionarily. So yeah, a lot of the beliefs that we have that are just anti-unnecessary pain, anti-unnecessary killing, you could say that these things came from an evolutionary trait. Religion did not always exist.
Oh, okay. So we're just gonna knock off Adam and Eve and
Adam and Eve are not real. It literally makes it literally would make no sense for Adam and Eve to exist the way they did.
So it wouldn't make sense for a man to be created, just like
it wouldn't even make sense for the creator to exist.
Animals. Okay, but how does if God doesn't exist, why does atoms make sense? Is that just something so that
atoms can exist without a God? You're living in a reality in which that is the case.
But who told you that?
That atoms exist?
Yeah.
I've witnessed an atom.
How?
So there are really, really strong microscopes.
Okay. And what you see, you've now called it an atom.
Right. We call it atom because we named that specimen an atom.
Okay. So you've gone down with a microscope and seen the smallest bit of thing moving, because we are all living vibrational things, and you've called it an atom.
Not vibrational.
Atoms are not vibrational.
No.
Okay. So the concept of Big Bang is
okay. Huge jump. I'm just gonna go on Discord.
No, it's not even that. It's just the space of chaos created everything that is so complex. I believe you have a soul.
Just because you do not understand something, hold on. Just because you do not understand something does not mean it is complex. I mean, it is complex. Sorry, my sister's me. Just because you do not understand something does not mean that it is special. It means you need to learn more, because there are people who understand these things, and that's why we know what an atom is.
Oh, I know what an atom is. I just know what God is also. I'm just trying to use your point in terms of how
Wait. I did not know that, chat. Hold on.
But atoms do vibrate, by the way.
Just shut up, you didn't know that. Oh, cool. I didn't know that they actually vibrate. You didn't know that.
We're learning. This is what life is about, actually.
You believe in a God.
That's actually evolution.
Atoms in a solid do vibrate. Actually, no, that does make sense, because that makes sense. I'm so sorry.
Like ice. I was
about to say that's how heat happens. Shut up! You didn't know that. Shut up.
You're smart too.
Shut up. Shut up. You don't.
Why are you coming at me? Why are you coming at me?
I hate. That's just one of my biggest pet peeves. Stop it. Stop talking.
I think you just hate men.
Oh my God.
Let's go off.
I hate people do that. What? What? Oh my God. Go ahead.
Listen, I'm not even disproving you. You sound like an intelligent.
I don't care, and I am intelligent. There's no such thing as sounding intelligent. Can you just continue, please?
Oh, okay. My bad. Shit. So yeah, coming back to my point, right? So obviously, if you don't believe in God and you don't believe in love or morals,
Yeah. So all of these things exist without a God. You live in a reality in which all of these things exist without a God, because you live in a reality without a God.
But the thing is, though, right? You said religion wasn't here when we were, but it kind of was. But let's not go into that.
No, we can go into it. There's no evidence of religion existing before written history.
Okay, so in history class, what does AD mean and AC mean?
These particular names don't mean anything. These are still written history.
So before Christ and after Christ, we're just gonna ignore this.
These aren't. I don't think that's actually what that stands for.
No, let's do another Google search.
And also, like, that doesn't necessarily mean that he was real.
Okay, so most
we could give it, and also I don't think that actually means before Christ.
You do a Google search. I'm waiting for you.
And also, that still doesn't matter.
I'm just saying, if most religions of the world recognize,
I don't
Jesus,
give a fuck. We can name it anything. It doesn't. You can say it's before cock. Doesn't mean anything. Before chickens.
Okay, all right.
That doesn't. Just because we have like a rudimentary time of when Jesus may have existed, doesn't mean that he actually existed.
We're getting there. We're getting there. May have. He did. But let's go off.
No, he didn't. There's no actual solid evidence that he existed.
There is scientific evidence.
There's no scientific evidence that Jesus Christ existed. I have. That's why I'm saying it.
Baby girl, Google it.
Don't call me baby girl.
All right, cool. What should I call you?
My fucking name.
What's your name? Sorry.
All right, let's go on to the next person.
Hey, my bad. Okay. My bad.
Let's lock
I
in.
called you baby girl and you came for me. My bad.
I won't say it again. Let's lock in.
My bad. All right, let's lock in. Cool. So, coming back to my point, right? So, I believe, right, through obviously religion reasons, that when Jesus Christ came, I'm
not discussing that with you.
Okay, let's just skip that past. Let's skip
I'm gonna be real. I'm not discussing fake shit with you. I'm not discussing insurmountable, unfalsifiable fake shit with you. I'm not doing that. We are adults. I'm not doing that.
Okay, let's come back to science. Cool. Because obviously religion is real, but we're not gonna go there.
Religion is not real.
God is real. Anyways, moving on.
No, it's not. Also, you cannot rely on science and believe in God, by the way.
Yes, I can.
No, you cannot.
There's no rules to this.
Yes, there is. If you're a guy, if we're going to be sitting here talking about like morality of certain things, right? You would have to rely on your religion, unless you actually don't rely on your religion and you're not actually Christian.
Did you know?
Your morals are already set out for you. You cannot rely on science for these types of things.
Science actually just telling me how. It doesn't tell me why. You know, I use it as like a tool, like money.
Oh, I just assumed that you didn't know what the word science meant. But when we're talking about like, okay, so then why are we talking about science within the context of body count?
No, because it boils down to science, and religion boils down to everything in this world.
Religion isn't real, so it would boil
down to science. You don't believe in vampires, you don't believe in spirits and ghosts.
Vampires are not real. Spirits are not real. These are all things that are made up by humans.
That is crazy. So you don't even believe in creatures, for real?
Creatures, everything could be a creature. We're creatures. Creatures is just like a being.
And you think we're the only complex creatures out here?
I do not believe that we are the only complex creatures.
So how can you say there's no vampires? How can you say that with your chest? There's no vampires. There's no reptilians.
Because vampires,
no mermaids.
Because vampires are from a book, and mermaids are from a book.
Everything's from a book, even science.
Humans are not from a book, and science is not from a book. Science is a way for humans.
As well.
We did not evolve from a book. Do I look like paper?
You don't look like a fish either. But
So wait, are you saying? So wait, that doesn't make any sense though.
That's where evolution comes from.
So you tell me that paper is not a man-made thing.
Paper is a man-made thing, just like everything else.
Right. So fish are not man-made.
Okay, but are you trying to say we came from fishes?
We unironically did. We were aquatic.
See, now that sounds crazier to me than vampires.
Just because you don't understand evolution, like it does sound crazy, but yes, our common ancestors were aquatic.
Look, see, we're both just trading crazy right now, and that's
we're not trading crazy. No, we're not trading crazy. It sounds fantastical, but yes, our common ancestor with most of the beings on Earth were aquatic.
You thought we had gills?
We were aquatic. We lived in water. Not humans like mermaids, but we were like a fish.
Right. So we came from water, but you don't believe in mermaids. There's a thin line. Every time we're speaking, there's always.
I don't believe in mermaids because we know who came up with mermaids.
Who?
Right. It's in a book.
Just like
right, or actually like seafarers, or people who may have seen other animals like beluga whales, because beluga whales have knees, right? And so from the bottom, it looks like a mermaid, but it's not. Mermaids are not real. There's no evidence for that. I'm not saying that like you can be agnostic to the fact that like there's a top human bottom fish being out there, given the fact that we've only discovered about 5% of the ocean. But I don't care. But that doesn't mean that they're actually real.
No. Just because you haven't seen them doesn't mean they're not real. For example,
But you're saying unequivocally that they are real, and there's no way for you to prove that. And also, again, it's from a fucking book.
Let me give you an example, right? If we were to,
how do you know that Spider-Man isn't real, chat? Like what?
We don't.
Yeah, let's go on to the next person.
No.
I'm not doing that. I don't like this like weird like pseudo intellectual fuckery. I don't like that. No, I'm not engaging with that. I'm not engaging with that at all.
Wow, that was quick.
Hi, how old are you?
Hello, I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So why do you think a high body count should matter for women but not for men?
Well, just to preface this, I'm practicing this for my debate skill. I actually kind of agree with you on this topic. But I wanted to present like the point that I feel as though a lot of people would say, oh yeah, a higher body count doesn't matter for men because there's this perpetuation that men should have, more of a dominant persona, so to speak, that kind of is like, oh yeah, like you're supposed to have multiple partners so you can spread your seed. I'm saying this all in quotation marks. Yeah, it's kind of gross. But I feel as though that's where society comes into saying, oh yeah, this is why women shouldn't have higher body counts, because women, like, if I'm not mistaken, there's like a limited amount of times that like y'all can give birth. Like, is a biological clock.
I don't know why you guys keep talking about reproduction. I don't know why you guys are
body count is an important thing for a lot of men. Like,
but that's unjustifiable.
It like I said, I agree with you. I'm just pointing out the point of most men.
I know how most men think, but like this isn't even like a devil's advocate thing. It's just unjustifiable. Like you would have to tell me like the qualifier between these two.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really have anything to argue against you then, so I guess I'll just go.
All right, period. Like I know the arguments, that's why I debate it. Right? You have to know the counter arguments to be able to argue against them. But like I don't care what the societal structures are, nor do I care about reproduction. They're not relevant in any sense. Like you can have sex with 500 people and still reproduce at 45. It has nothing to do with it. 100 men try to say something useful. 100 men versus trying to say something useful, chat. Hi, how old are you? Hello, Moxie? All right. Let's go on to the next person. I'll give it a second. How old are you?
19.
Cool. So, why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men?
I just want to, before I go there, I just want to say about the last point. We know God exists because of mass transmission, but we can move on. Why?
Not real.
That is real. What do you mean? How do we know? How do you know that anything in history existed?
By a preponderance of evidence, and given the fact that we have bodies, transcripts, things like that. I don't care about this anti-intellectual fuckery though.
But we do know. We know, for example, the Byzantine Empire existed because of mass transmission.
I'm not. Right, that doesn't mean that your God is real. Anyway, go ahead.
How does that? How?
It means that they raped, killed, and pillaged people till they converted. But go ahead. And also trade also causes for religious transfer as well. But go ahead. Why should
because mass. No,
I didn't ask. I don't care. I don't care. Actually, I don't give a shit. Actually, I don't care.
Okay.
Anyway, so why should high body count matter?
Can I just finish my point?
No.
Why not?
I know your God doesn't care about consent, but I said no.
I know your God doesn't care about consent.
It is both the argument and the reasoning and the justification.
I know your God doesn't care about consent. Okay.
He definitely doesn't. Go ahead.
Okay. And your mother should get her leg shot, to be honest.
No, she has 8 kids. She did a great job.
I don't think so.
We're all rich as fuck. We own our house. What do you have, baby?
I'm rich as fuck too. Click on my profile. Go click on my profile.
Oh my God. How much of a pussy do you have to be?
Go click on my profile.
Genuinely feel like you have to prove that to someone.
Go click on my profile.
Oh my God. Bro, grow up.
Go click on my profile.
Oh my God. 100 men 100 men versus feeling like they need to prove something to someone.
No, you're the one who said God doesn't care about consent.
Oh
I'm like, what the fuck?
God. You're like, oh my God, you're so trigger, skinny calves. Calm down.
Okay. If you say so.
Calm down, queen.
I'm calm. I'm literally calm.
Calm down. Oh my God, why are you screaming at me?
I don't know. I just felt like screaming, to be
Oh my
honest.
God, please stop. Go ahead.
Okay.
Anyway, can you engage in the argument, please?
I was engaging in the argument.
No, you weren't. Anyway, can you go ahead and restate your
Bro,
premise
you
with
have
an
a
actual
Nissan?
answer,
Bro,
please?
okay, bro.
Oh,
Sorry?
don't be angry at me. Don't be stinky. Come on, skinny.
What? What are you saying?
Go ahead and engage.
I was engaging. He kept trying to talk over me. I was like, what?
No, because I don't want to talk about your God. I don't care about some fake shit. Just talk about actual
Fake
what we're
shit.
actually talking about.
Okay,
Oh my God,
can I
he's getting
respond to that,
triggered
though?
again. No, he's getting triggered again. I don't care.
Okay, but can I just say one thing? If you're gonna make a claim, why can't I argue against it?
But I said no, because that's not what we're talking about, and I don't care, right? Like, it's not even a claim. It's me saying I don't give a fuck, right?
Drives
So
a Nissan? Bro, listen.
Oh
Hold
my
on.
God. Oh my
The
God.
comments?
100 men versus whining. Oh my God. 100 men versus whining. Stop.
Okay.
Anyway, so why do you think that high body count should matter for women but not for men, baby?
Anyways, before I answer that, the comments.
100
Go
men
to my
versus
post.
being able
Go to my
to
post.
mind their fucking business.
Go to my post. It's like scroll down a bit. Those are
100
edits.
men
But
versus
listen.
not being insecure.
Okay.
100 men versus not feeling like they have to prove things to strangers on the internet. 100 men versus their own self-confidence. 100 men versus getting to the fucking point. 100... Are you going to go?
Go where?
Are you going to actually engage with the premise here?
I am trying to, but every time I speak, you keep like.
Every
saying
time
random
you
shit.
speak, you keep trying to talk to the comment section and then not talking about the premise behind me. So let's lock
100 women versus weight loss.
100 men versus
weight
suicidal
loss.
ideation.
100 women versus not eating Taco Bell every day.
100 men versus a Glock 90.
How does that even make sense, bro? What, suicide? Is that what you're trying to say?
100 men versus a 7-year-old girl.
What the Sigma?
100 men versus a rape charge.
What the Sigma? 100 women versus Taco Bell.
100 men versus a school of children.
100 women versus OnlyFans.
100 men versus a porn addiction.
100 women versus Pizza Hut.
Really? You want to
Yo.
take a swing at that again, baby?
Nah, I'm good. I think that was a strong one.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even know who that wasn't even relevant.
How?
100 men versus their own sexuality, chat.
100 women versus obesity.
100 men versus the month of November.
The month of November? What does that even mean?
100 men versus getting a joke.
What?
100 men versus the planet Jupiter.
What are you yapping about? What is the planet Jupiter? What are you actually saying?
100 men versus their own right hand.
Jeez Louise. 100 women versus their bedside table.
You're just naming things.
No, because what do you keep in your bedside table, buddy?
100, I don't have one. 100 men versus consent.
You used that before.
I know.
You have to use something new.
100 men versus not touching people inappropriately.
That was a good one.
100 men versus being triggered by a joke.
I'm not triggered by a joke.
100 men versus not being able to engage with an argument.
100 women versus
100 men versus a college degree.
I have a college degree.
100 men versus Tashika in a debate. 100 men versus respecting women they're not attracted to. 100 men versus not crashing their car.
No one's attracted to you, though.
100 men versus not talking about another woman's looks. 100 men.
looks. What the hell?
100 men versus their own skinny calves. 100 men versus having a disproportionate head size.
100.
100
You have a
men.
disproportionate body.
100 men versus the alt-right pipeline. 100 men versus a single book. 100 men versus a high EQ.
Name me 10 books. Name me 10 books.
100 men versus one gay man.
Name me 10 books.
100 men versus wiping their own ass. 100 men versus asking a random person to name 10 books.
Name me 10 books.
100 men versus the length and circumference of their own wrist.
Name me 10 books.
100 men
Do you know any 10
versus
books?
male pattern baldness.
Can you name me 10
100
books?
men
I can name you 10 books. Do you want me to name you 10 books?
belking.
Do you want me to name you 10 books?
100 men versus a high school diploma.
Do you want me to name you 10 books? I can name you 10 books.
100
Name me 10 books.
versus
Name me 10 books.
self-love.
Name me 10 books.
100 men versus a therapist appointment.
Name me 10 books.
100 men versus one unbothered woman.
Name me 10 books.
100 men versus their own penis not working.
Name me
100 men. Are you like I can keep going? Like what is this? Can we engage
you name me 10
in the,
books?
Can we engage in the conversation, please?
May
Come
you
on,
name me
dude.
10 books?
100 men
Jeez
versus
Louise.
not making children level insults.
100 women versus like keep
100
yapping
men
and just talking and
versus
shouting.
100
Okay, bro.
men getting triggered by 1,700 people in a live.
Name me 10
100
books.
men versus realizing that he could leave
Can
at
you,
any
can
moment.
you name me 10 fast food places?
100
I bet you can.
100
Name me 10
men
fast food
versus
places.
not yelling at someone on the internet.
Name me 10 fast food places. I bet you can.
100 men versus getting triggered at someone on a live stream.
Name me 10 fast food
100
places.
men versus one debate about body count.
Name me
100 men.
Name me 10 fast food places. Come on.
100 men versus coming up with something more original than a fat joke.
I'm just saying, name me 10 of anything you want, bro.
100 men and emotional availability. 100 men.
Can you
versus
stop? Because it's
emotional
actually like
maturity.
so loud and like it's just annoying.
100 men versus
my
understanding
God.
that they can leave someone when they're too loud. 100 men versus
100 men. Can you stop?
100 men versus
Jeez.
not unaliving their family when they get laid off from their jobs.
Jeez.
100 men versus killing their wives.
Jeez.
100 men versus not eating people.
If you sneeze, is it like a double barrel like shotgun?
100 men versus making good arguments.
I'm just asking you.
100 men versus saying something useful. 100 men.
You done now?
100 men versus being able to shut the hell up.
Oh, bro.
100 men versus literally not ruining anything. 100 men versus creating a safe society for
Why are you
all.
out of breath already?
100 men versus not making shitty fat jokes.
Why are you out of breath already?
100 men versus
I'm
having the
crying.
worst, most cringe laugh imaginable.
What's wrong with my laugh?
100
What's wrong with my
men
laugh?
versus a cough laugh.
What's wrong with my laugh?
100 men versus the common cold. 100 men versus chlamydia. 100 men versus HPV.
You probably lost like a few calories because of all that, by the way. That's probably
100
good.
men versus originality.
That was original. Can you listen? Can you name me 10 books?
100 men
Name me
versus
10
being able
books,
to
dude. Come
stick
on,
to
name
the
me
point.
10 books. Name me 10 books.
100
Name me
men
5
versus
books. Name me
the
5
point.
books. Name me $5. Name me $5. I'm not even white. I'm Arab. Name me $5.
100 men.
Name me $5.
100 men versus their own life expectancy.
Name me $5.
100 men versus their divorce rates. 100 men versus self-awareness. 100 men versus being cringe. 100 men versus what else? What else is there, Sat? 100
How do you say your name, by the way?
men versus being able to wipe their own ass.
How do you say your name, by the way?
100 men versus Megan's Law.
How is Arab white?
100
Brown.
men,
What the hell?
100
Sorry, go
men
ahead.
versus the age of consent.
You said that already, though.
I did not.
Yes, you did. You said consent.
The age of consent and consent are two different things. 100 men versus not knowing the difference between consent and the age of consent.
That was funny. How do you say your name, by the way? Where'd you go?
100 men versus being able to.
Did you just have a burger?
Vowels.
Did you just have a burger?
When you're ready.
Are you having the fries now or something?
There you go.
Back on your burger?
100 men versus not showing how big their forehead is.
I have a small forehead.
100 men
What the hell? I have
versus
literally
a
a small forehead.
snapback.
I have full- I have
100
full
men versus a tiny forehead that touches their eyebrows.
You have 100 chins.
100 men versus 100 chins.
You literally have 100 chins.
100 men versus being triggered by fat people.
I am
100
actually, by the way. I am
men
very triggered for fat
versus pronouns. 100 men versus one trans woman. 100 men versus
trans woman is a man,
DL
though.
trade.
DL
100
trade?
men.
What the single?
100 men versus using children's terminology as an adult. 100 men versus anime that isn't about pedophiles.
I don't watch anime.
100 men versus the types of corn they watch.
I don't watch anime. I don't watch corn. I don't know.
100 men.
And I'm celibate, by the way.
100 men versus Islam.
Okay.
100 men versus the stark pedophilia of Muhammad.
Okay.
100 men.
100 chins. 100 Tashikas versus a diet.
100 men versus a clinical checkup.
You need a diet, don't know.
100 men versus being able to handle an adult conversation. 100 men versus Jergens.
Jergens. What the fuck is a Jergen?
Exactly. 100 men.
Okay, let me search Jergen.
100 men versus the Prophet Muhammad's child wife.
How do you spell Jergen? How do you spell Jergen?
100 men
Jergen.
versus
Fuck is it,
hooked
Jergen?
on phonics.
Jergen is a surname associated with certain individuals. What the fuck are you talking about? What's a Jergen, bro? Just keep making shit up.
100 men versus even knowing
Jergen's
what
perspective?
lotion is.
I have lotion.
100 men. Anyway, I gotta go do my niece's makeup. Bye, loser. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Die. Anyway, so love you guys so much. My niece is promised today, so I gotta go do her makeup. I do love you guys so much. I gotta go. Bye bye. Bye bye. Love you. Bye. Love you. Bye. Also, if you haven't already, follow me. Go watch my video, blow it up, save it, share it, comment, all that lovely stuff. Thank you all so much, baby. Also, saying that Prophet Muhammad was a pedophile is not Islamophobia. That is a fact. Fucking get over it. Anyway, bye. Love you. Bye.